What's up everybody, Stone from Stick on the Ice here and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to try to turn the Toronto Maple Leafs into Stanley Cup champions in just 3 seasons. So looking at the team right now, we're looking pretty decent. Our bottom 6 might need a slight improvement and our D-line's looking pretty solid. But with the goaltending situation, I'm going to make some drastic moves. So hear me out on this trade. Jack Campbell does not improve whatsoever in this game. He's at an 84 right now. At best, he's going to get to an 85. For some reason, this guy does not improve. So I'm going to trade him for Jeff Gardner in the third to help the bottom 6. Now we're making huge moves here. John Tavares straight up for Igor Shesterkin. We're going to get our superstar goalie by any means possible. And by doing this trade, we're also freeing up $5 million in cap space by getting rid of Tavares. And we're also going to pick up Tony DeAngelo through a trade of Liljegren in a 6th. I also want to mention, I did this video before Evander Kane signed with the Oilers, so he was still a free agent, so I decided to sign him for 3 years worth $4.25 million per year. So after all the moves were made, our team's looking good, and I want to mention, Peter Mrazek, you're not going to be here next season. You're probably not even going to make it to the end of the year. You're getting traded at some point. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate the first 10 games and see where this team's at. So after 10 games, it's looking pretty disappointing. A 4-5-1 record. I was expecting a lot more from this team. Over the next 13 games, the team would step it up slightly, going 7-4-2. Now I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the 50 game mark so we can get a good idea of what this team's looking like. And through 49 games, Toronto has a 29-16-4 record. And not only is that good enough for first in the division, but that's good enough for 5th overall in the entire league. Matthews is currently leading the team with 24 goals and 26 assists for 50 points, followed by Marner, who's picking up 30 goals and 35 assists for 48 points. And Morgan Rielly's going to round out the top 3 while leading the defense with 9 goals and 29 assists for 38 points. Igor Shesterkin's looking fantastic. He's picked up 26 wins while posting a .915 save percentage and a .263 goals against. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the trade deadline, and I'll make moves based on how we do. With an 8-5 record in the next 13 games, I think we need to make some moves. And some moves were definitely made, as I'm going to be sending 2/3 in a prospect to Winnipeg to pick up Andrew Kopp. I feel like we could use some more forward depth, so I'm going to trade another prospect along with a 4th and a 5th for Rickard Rakell. And the final move has us sending Peter Mrazek to the Minnesota Wild for Marcus Foligno. After the trade deadline, I think this team's looking great. We have 4 lines we can run consistently. Our defense is looking strong. That was never an issue. And our goaltending, we got Igor Shesterkin. We're looking great. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the end of the season and see how we do. So after all those moves were made after the trade deadline, this team went 16-3-1. We ended up finishing 1st in the division and 3rd in the entire league. It looks like all those moves worked out amazing for us. Matthews is leading the team in points with 50 goals and 37 helpers for 87 points. Mitch Marner's finishing 2nd with 21 goals and 61 helpers for 82 points, and Rickard Rakell is going to round out the top 3 with 13 goals and 61 helpers for 74 points. It should be no surprise that Morgan Rielly is leading the defense with 15 goals and 52 assists for 67 points. In Igor Shesterkin, he's going to pick up 44 wins along with a .912 save percentage and a .268 goals against. Looking at the entire league, McDavid's leading the way with 63 goals and 62 helpers for 125 points. This man was unstoppable this season. Leon Draisaitl is finishing 2nd with 53 goals and 57 assists for 110 points, while Jack Eichel is finishing 3rd with 49 goals and 55 helpers for 104 points. And looking at the goaltending leader, Igor Shesterkin's going to lead the entire league in wins. Good work, my guy. Looking at the playoff seeding, we're in tough. We're taking on the Boston Bruins in the first round. Toronto's never had any luck with this team, but if we do get by them, I think we can go on to win the Stanley Cup. After taking down Boston in a clean sweep, I don't think anyone can stop us. We're taking on Detroit in the second round, but they're not going to be an issue. Detroit's fallen in 6 games, and now we got New Jersey. There's no way New Jersey's going to beat that team that stops us. We just beat them 7-1 yesterday. Well, that backfired a bit. We're falling in 6 games. Not only did Austin Matthews lead this team in postseason scoring, but he led the league with 13 goals and 14 assists for 27 points through 16 games. He was unstoppable. We only had 2 picks in the draft, but one of them ended up being Nathan Gonchar, who has a medium elite potential, so he'll be a good trading piece. Yeah, you're not going to make this team, we're trading you away. Heading into the re-sign phase, I'm going to bring a few players back. I'm going to offer Tony DeAngelo a 4-year contract worth $3.3 million per year. Spets is going to get a 1-year deal at $1.8 million. Andrew Kopp signing a massive deal for 5 years, $8.2 million. We would end up bringing 2 of the 3 players back in Kopp and D'Angelo, while Spezza said we didn't give him enough money. I think $1.8 million was more than enough. Also, Evander Kane was completely disappointing, so I'm going to trade him to Carolina for a 3rd and a 5th. After clearing up some cap space with the Evander Kane trade, I'm going to bring back Andre Kasha for 3 years, $3.1 million per year, and then Rasmus Sedin for 1 year, $1.8 million. A few days later, both of these guys would accept their contracts and sign with the team. Due to us not having a ton of free cap space, I wouldn't really sign anyone during the free agent phase, except for a few guys that would help on the 4th line, and then a goaltender. So heading into next season, this team's looking pretty solid. We have a few weaknesses, but hey, every team does. But all around, I think we're a great looking team. Through the first 10 games, Toronto's looking fantastic with a 7-2-1 record. Entering the new year, over the next 19 games, Toronto was incredible, going 15-5-4. So now we're going to see what this team looks like through 50 games. We're at the 50 game mark, and Toronto's looking unstoppable. They got a 31-12-7 record. Not only are they first in the division once again, but they're also 3rd in the entire league. But the leading scorers from this team is something I wouldn't have projected. Morgan Riley's currently leading the team with 7 goals and 51 assists for 58 points. Coming in second's Andrew Kopp with 23 goals and 28 assists for 51 points. And Mitch Marner's going to round out the top 3 with 10 goals and 41 assists for 51 points. Shesterkin's incredible once again with 24 wins, with a .908 save percentage and a .272 goals against average. So I'm going to simulate up to the trade deadline, and I think we're going to make some moves because I think this is a Stanley Cup caliber team. Toronto would struggle in their next 10 games, however, as they would go 4-5-1 heading into the trade deadline. After going 4-5-1, I didn't want to make any drastic moves, but I did want to make one move that would have us sending a 2nd round pick and a prospect to Seattle for Jonas Donskoy. The reason I didn't change things up too much is why would I? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this team's looking fantastic so far. So I'm going to simulate to the end of the season and see where this team finishes. Toronto would be incredible finishing out the year with a 49-22-11 record. Not only was that good enough for 1st in the division, but we finished 1st in the entire league. There's no more excuses. We have to win a Stanley Cup. Kopp's going to lead the team in points with 37 goals and 49 helpers for 86 points. Morgan Riley's coming in second while leading the defense with 12 goals and 74 assists for 86 points as well. So he was tied for our top scorer. Who would have thought? Mitch Marner's going to come in 3rd with 17 goals and 67 assists for 84 points. And once again, Shesterkin's fantastic, picking up 39 wins with a .908 save percentage and a .276 goals against. Also, if you made it this far into the video and you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. I'm going to be dropping a lot of videos similar to this, so make sure you subscribe and turn the bell on so you can be notified of when I upload. Leading the entire league in points is going to be Alexander Ovechkin, who's picking up a ridiculous 60 goals and 50 assists for 110 points. This man's never going to slow down. Nathan McKinnon's going to come in second with 57 goals, 49 helpers for 106 points, while Jack Eichel's going to round out the top 3 with 46 goals and 57 helpers for 105 points. Looking at the leading goaltender in wins, we're going to have a 5-way tie, but in that tie was Igor Shesterkin. It looks like that Tavares trade is definitely working out for us. Heading into the playoffs, we're going to be taking on the Boston Bruins once again. And you know what I said last year? That applies to this season. If we can get past Boston, we're going to win a Stanley Cup. I mean, it didn't work out for us last season, but it's going to work out this year. So in a tough 7-game series, Toronto's just going to squeak by Boston, and now we're taking on Tampa in the 2nd round. Yeah, so that thing about us beating Boston and then winning the Stanley Cup didn't really work out too well. We lost in Tampa to 6. Matthews led Toronto in postseason points once again with 10 goals and 7 assists for 17 points. Heading into the draft, Toronto had 5 picks, but the best prospect we got was with the 60th overall pick, where we got a low elite potential defenseman. Going into the re-sign phase, I plan on bringing back a handful of people. I'm going to offer Jonas Donskoy a 3-year deal worth $5.3 million a year. Sedin's getting offered a 4-year, $4.7 million per year deal. Travis Dermott's getting a 3-year, $2.4 million per year deal. And Nick Ritchie, he's going to get a 1-year, $1.5 million deal. And great news, every single player we offered a contract to is signing with the team. I feel like there's a few more moves that need to get done. TJ Brody's going to be sent to the Stars for a 3rd and a 6th, and then I'm going to package those picks up with Jake Muzzin and send them to New Jersey for 2 seconds. The reason I'm doing this is I'm going to clear up a bunch of cap space and then sign 2 better defensemen. And one of those defensemen is Gavrikov, who I'm signed to a 2-year deal worth $3 million per year. The other player that's getting a contract from us is going to be Felipe Myers, who's getting a 6-year, $4.7 million per year deal. Both players would end up signing, and with Myers, he was an RFA, so we had to give Nashville a 1st and a 3rd rounder. I'd make a few more moves in free agency, which had Burakovsky getting signed to a 3-year deal, which he would accept, and then this guy. No clue who he is, but he signed for a 1-year deal worth $1 million, and he's an 81 overall. So I think that's a steal for us. Then I'm going to sign Connor Ingram to a 1-year deal worth $800,000 that he would accept. So it comes down to this season. One last chance. Besides our third line D pairing, I have zero concerns with this team. Let's go win a cup. So I'm going to simulate through 10 games once again, and we'll see where we're at. So currently, we've won 10 straight. I think I've built a Stanley Cup team. If this team doesn't win, this game is just completely rigged. Over the next 14 games, we would go 11, 1, and 2. So currently, we're sitting at a 21, 1, and 2 record. We better not lose. After 50 games, the team's 38, 8, and 4. Of course, we're first in the division, and we're first in the entire league. Mitch Marner's leading the team with 16 goals and 46 assists for 62 points. Matthews is coming in second with 30 goals and 30 helpers for 60 points. And Kopp's going to round out the top 3 with 23 goals and 32 assists for 55 points. Morgan Rielly continues to lead the defense with 7 goals and 44 helpers for 51 points. And Igor Shesterkin continues to dominate, 32 wins with a 909 save percentage and a 272 goals against. So I'm going to simulate to the trade deadline, see what this team's looking like, and then make a few moves. I don't want to make too many because I don't want to mess this team up. Entering the trade deadline, over the next 14 games, we went 7-7, so I feel like we need to make one move. And that move is going to have us sending a 2nd and 3rd to Montreal for Tyler Toffoli. As you know, I didn't want to shake too many things up. I'm feeling great about this team. So I'm going to simulate to the end of the season, and I want to see if this team can win 60 games. But in order to do that, we got to go 15-3, so that's highly unlikely. But what do I know? Because the Toronto Maple Leafs just went 16-2 in their next 18 games to finish with a 61-17-4 record. Of course, that puts us at the top of the division and top of the league. Matthews is once again leading the team with 51 goals and 52 helpers for 103 points. Marner's coming in second with 32 goals and 67 helpers for 99 points. And Andrew Kopp's going to round out the top 3 with 30 goals and 53 assists for 83 points. It should be no surprise that Morgan Rielly is going to be leading the defense once again while picking up 12 goals and 17 assists for 82 points. And of course, our guy Igor Shesterkin's picking up 49 wins with a 906 save percentage and a 283 goals against. Evgeny Malkin's going to lead the entire league in points with 56 goals and 60 helpers for 116 points. Coming in second, not too far behind, was Patrice Bergeron with 37 goals and 77 assists for 114 points. And rounding out the top 3 is going to be Brad Marchand with 52 goals and 57 assists for 109 points. And of course, with our league best record, Shesterkin's picking up a bunch of wins, and he's going to lead the entire league. And for the 3rd straight season in the playoffs, we're going to be taking on the Boston Bruins in the 1st round. But Boston hasn't faced this Toronto Maple Leafs team. Boston's going to be no trouble for us as we're taking them down in 6, and now we're taking on Tampa in the 2nd round, looking to get our revenge. And we got our revenge. But now we gotta get some more revenge as we're taking on the New Jersey Devils in the conference finals. We would get our revenge on New Jersey, and now it all comes down to Edmonton. The Edmonton Oilers stand in our way. And in Game 5, we went down bad. We went down incredibly bad. That's tough. That's real tough.